Before he was a household name, a business mogul, and the 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump was just a boy from Queens with big dreams. Picture this: a young Donald, barely 8 years old, staring up at the Manhattan skyline from his modest home in Jamaica Estates. One day, as the story goes, he turned to his father, Fred Trump, a successful real estate developer, and said, "One day, I'm going to own those buildings." This early glimpse of his ambition set the stage for an extraordinary life, filled with triumphs, controversies, and indelible impact. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York. He was the fourth of 5 children born to Frederick Christ Trump and Mary Ann McLeod Trump. Fred Trump, a first-generation American of German descent, built a real estate empire, developing middle-income housing in Brooklyn and Queens. Mary Ann, a Scottish immigrant, brought a sense of discipline and thriftiness to the family. Donald grew up alongside his siblings, Mary Ann, Fred Jr., Elizabeth and Robert, in a home that valued hard work and ambition. His father's stern approach and his mother's supportive nature shaped young Donald's outlook on life, instilling in him a relentless drive to succeed. Education played a pivotal role in Donald Trump's early development. Known for his rebellious streak, Donald was sent to the New York Military Academy at the age of 13. This move, prompted by his parents' concerns about his behavior and discipline, instilled in him the discipline and competitive spirit that would later define his business approach. After graduating in 1964, Trump attended Fordham University for 2 years before transferring to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Wharton, renowned for its business program, provided Trump with a solid foundation in finance and real estate. He graduated in 1968 with a Bachelor of Science degree in economics. With a degree in economics in his bag, Trump had to choose the next course of action. He always wanted to be independent and in charge of things, and this would have drawn him in the direction of starting his own business. But something else appealed to him: the idea of apprenticeship, the need to learn fast under a great tutor. With his dream of conquering the New York skyline still handy, he knew his exact next move. Donald's next move was working alongside his father in the Trump Organization, and this gave him the opportunity to work on big projects from the get-go. His first major project was the revitalization of the Commodore Hotel in Manhattan, which he transformed into the Grand Hyatt New York. This success was a precursor to a series of high-profile real estate ventures. In 1983, Trump completed the iconic Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue, a 58-story skyscraper that became a symbol of luxury and ambition. His business empire expanded into casinos, resorts, and various other industries, including an airline and professional sports. Trump's name became synonymous with wealth and opulence as he redefined the real estate landscape in New York and beyond. But Trump's business acumen wasn't confined to real estate. In 1996, he purchased the Miss Universe organization, which included the Miss USA and Miss Teen USA pageants. Under his leadership, these pageants were broadcast to millions of viewers worldwide, enhancing his brand's visibility and prestige. In the world of sports entertainment, Trump made a memorable impact through his involvement with World Wrestling Entertainment, WE. His appearances in WWE events, including the famous Battle of the Billionaires at WrestleMania 23, where he shaved WWE chairman Vince McMahon's head, showcased his flair for showmanship and media savvy. In 2013, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame for his contributions to the industry. Perhaps one of Trump's most significant contributions to popular culture was his role as the host and executive producer of the reality TV show The Apprentice, which premiered in 2004. The show featured aspiring entrepreneurs competing for a job within the Trump Organization. With his signature phrase, "You're fired," Trump became a television icon, reaching millions of households and solidifying his reputation as a decisive and commanding figure. In addition to these ventures, Trump also launched Trump Vodka in 2006, marketed with the slogan, "Success Distilled." Although it aimed to capture the luxury market, the brand failed to take off and production was halted in 2011. Before he experienced failure with the Trump vodka, Trump has had a fair share of business turbulence in the past, and his story would not be complete without reference to the most daunting time of his business life. But to do this, we need to turn the clock back to the 80s. Trump was like a man on steroids. Everything he touched seemed to get turned to gold. This was until a series of unfortunate coincidences shook his thriving empire to its very foundation. Over-leveraged investments in casinos, airlines, and other ventures led to a series of financial crises and bankruptcies. Trump's bold and often risky business strategies caught up with him, threatening to dismantle his empire. By 1991, Trump's Taj Mahal casino in Atlantic City was $3 billion in debt, leading to its filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This was followed by bankruptcies for the Trump Plaza Hotel, the Trump Castle Casino Resort, and the Plaza Hotel. These filings allowed Trump to negotiate debt restructuring and avoid complete financial ruin. Trump aggressively expanded his business portfolio during the 1980s, investing heavily in casinos, hotels, an airline, Trump Shuttle, and the purchase of the Plaza Hotel. The rapid expansion led to over-leveraging, with high-interest loans and significant debt. The late 1980s saw a significant economic downturn, particularly in the real estate market. Property values plummeted and the revenue from Trump's casinos and hotels fell short of projections. The properties Trump acquired had high operating costs, which, coupled with declining revenues, made it difficult to service the debt. Trump's major creditors included a consortium of banks such as Citibank, Bankers Trust, and Chase Manhattan Bank. These banks had significant exposure due to the loans they extended to Trump's various ventures. One of the largest creditors, Citibank, had extended substantial loans to Trump's real estate projects. Bankers Trust, another major lender, heavily involved in financing Trump's casino projects. Chase Manhattan Bank also had considerable exposure to Trump's debts, particularly related to the Plaza Hotel. Facing the potential collapse of his business empire, Trump knew that he had to give his all or risk losing his all he had worked for. He knew the options were limited, but he had to go back to one of the most important skills he has learned: the skill of intense negotiation. He adopted a bold strategy, leveraging his high-profile public image and arguing that it was in the bank's best interest to keep him afloat rather than forcing liquidation. Trump successfully negotiated debt restructuring agreements, which included extending repayment periods and reducing the total debt. For instance, in the case of the Taj Mahal, he converted a portion of the debt into equity, giving bondholders a stake in the casino. To raise capital and reduce debt, Trump sold off several assets. This included his yacht, the Trump Princess, and his airline, Trump Shuttle. He also sold a stake in the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Trump persuaded creditors to forgive part of the debt by providing personal guarantees for some loans. This meant he risked his personal wealth, including his properties and other assets. As part of the restructuring deals, Trump ceded some operational control of his businesses to creditor-appointed trustees. This allowed the creditors to oversee the management and ensure profitability. Trump's ability to navigate these financial crises and emerge relatively unscathed was due to several factors. Trump maintained a strong public presence through media appearances and his well-publicized lifestyle. This helped sustain his brand's value despite financial difficulties. He formed strategic partnerships and joint ventures that brought in new capital and expertise. For example, he partnered with fellow investors to develop the Riverside South project in Manhattan. The launch of The Apprentice in 2004 marked a significant turning point. The show's success revitalized Trump's brand, providing a steady stream of income and reinforcing his public image as a savvy businessman. The real estate market's eventual recovery in the late 1990s and early 2000s also contributed to Trump's resurgence. He capitalized on rising property values and renewed interest in high-end real estate. Trump's ability to negotiate with creditors, sell off non-essential assets, and leverage his personal brand played crucial roles in his financial recovery. Despite the setbacks, he managed to rebuild his empire and maintain a prominent position in the business world, setting the stage for his later political. Having conquered the stage in business, media and entertainment, Trump wanted to widen the net of his impact. He'd always wanted to make further impact through the political arena and had previously attempted to break into the ranks of high office. This led him to take his next big move. In June 2015, Donald Trump descended the escalator at Trump Tower and announced his candidacy for President of the United States. His campaign, marked by a populist message and a promise to make America great again, resonated with a significant portion of the electorate. Despite facing a crowded field of Republican candidates, Trump secured the nomination and went on to face Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton in the general election. The 2016 election was one of the most contentious and polarizing in American history. Trump's unorthodox campaign strategies, which included leveraging social media and rallying disaffected voters, played a crucial role in his victory. On November 8, 2016, Trump won the Electoral College, becoming the 45th President of the United States. During his presidency, Trump pursued a range of policies, including tax cuts, deregulation, and a focus on immigration reform. His administration saw significant changes in trade policies, particularly with China, and renegotiation of trade agreements like NAFTA, which was replaced by the USMCA. Trump's tenure also witnessed the appointment of 3 Supreme Court justices, shaping the judicial landscape for years to come. Trump maintained a loyal base of supporters and continued to influence the political landscape even after his presidency. But during his stint across the business, media and political space, there was one thing that has never seemed to be far from Trump: controversy. Trump was and remains no stranger to controversy. From his early business dealings to his time in the White House, Trump has been a polarizing figure. One of the most significant controversies of his early career involved accusations of racial discrimination in his real estate ventures. In 1973, the US Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against the Trump Management Corporation for refusing to rent to African Americans. Trump settled the case without admitting wrongdoing, but agreed to introduce new policies to ensure compliance with the Fair Housing Act. Trump's business practices have also been scrutinized. The bankruptcies of his Atlantic City casinos, as discussed earlier, raised questions about his business acumen and ethics. Additionally, his involvement in the now-defunct Trump University led to a $25 million settlement over allegations of fraud and deceptive practices. During his presidency, Trump's relationship with the media was fraught with tension. He frequently labeled unfavorable coverage as fake news and had contentious interactions with journalists. His administration was marked by high staff turnover and several high-profile firings and resignations. The investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election, led by Special Counsel Robert Mueller, was another major controversy. While the investigation did not establish a conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia, it did lead to numerous indictments and convictions of Trump associates. Trump's 2 impeachment trials further highlighted the controversies of his presidency. The first, in 2019, involved allegations of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress related to his dealings with Ukraine. The second, in 2021, stemmed from the January 6th Capitol riot, with charges of incitement of insurrection. Trump was acquitted in both trials by the Senate. Despite his well-documented life and bold moves, there is much that is less known about the enigma of a man. Trump doesn't drink alcohol, influenced by his older brother Fred Jr.'s struggle with alcoholism. He has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, awarded in 2007 for his role in The Apprentice. Trump has made cameo appearances in several movies and TV shows, including Home Alone 2 and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He once owned the New Jersey Generals, a team in the short-lived United States Football League, or USFL. Trump briefly explored a run for president in 2000 as a candidate for the Reform Party. He was awarded an honorary degree from Robert Gordon University in Scotland, which was later revoked. Trump has authored over a dozen books, with The Art of the Deal being one of his most famous works. He owns more than 11 golf courses worldwide, making golf a significant part of his business portfolio. Trump has a keen interest in World War II history, often referencing historical events and figures. Despite his aversion to shaking hands, Trump has often been seen doing so in public, adhering to social expectations. Donald Trump's legacy is multifaceted and complex. As a businessman, he transformed the skyline of New York and other major cities with his luxury developments. His branding acumen made Trump a household name, synonymous with wealth and success. In the entertainment world, his role in The Apprentice brought him into millions of homes, solidifying his image as a decisive and influential figure. His involvement in Miss Universe and WWE showcased his versatility and ability to capture public attention across diverse platforms. As president, Trump's legacy is both celebrated and criticized. Supporters praise his tax policies, deregulation efforts, and judicial appointments. They view his presidency as a bold attempt to challenge the political status quo and prioritize American interests on the global stage. Critics, however, highlight the controversies and divisiveness that marked his time in office. They point to his handling of the pandemic, his rhetoric, and the January 6th Capitol riot as significant blemishes on his record. Regardless of one's perspective, Donald Trump's impact on American politics and culture is undeniable. He remains a prominent and influential figure, continuing to shape public discourse and political dynamics. From his early days in Queens to the heights of political power, Donald Trump's journey is a testament to ambition, resilience, and the pursuit of success against all odds. His story is one of remarkable highs and dramatic lows, leaving an indelible mark on history. As we reflect on his life and legacy, we are reminded that the story of Donald Trump is far from over, and its next chapter remains to be written.